Hello, everybody! Are you guys having a great time at Disneyland Park? Man, I heard about this whole thing. It was private, annual passholder, Soundsational Summer. That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have a special surprise for each and every one of you. Three creative geniuses are here with us tonight. And before I get started with that, we have some stuff to go through. So again, there are three key creative geniuses that are part of making Soundsational Parade. They're part of making it. They're the ones that made it. They are the ideas. I love them so much. They're great individuals. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask them after this panel discussion, please do so. Think of those questions. We'll be taking those questions in the back, and I'll be moderating those as well. But right now, it is my pleasure to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome art directors Jody Daily and Kevin Kidney. And this panel would definitely not be complete without senior show director. Uh-oh, here we go, John Addis.
Wow! Cool! How is everybody? So, what was it like seeing the parade at night? Was it pretty cool? You know what? This was one of the first times we've seen the parade at night since we did rehearsals way back when, because we can only rehearse at night. And so we snuck out. We weren't supposed to be out there, but watched the parade tonight. And boy, it looks great. It looks terrific. I have to start by saying there's a certain someone that really wanted to be here tonight. And his name is Stephen Davidson. And Stephen was the creative director for the parade. He also did that little show across the way called World of Color. So he is in Paris this week. I know. Poor Stephen. But he asked me to tell you that he really wishes he could be here and tell you how much he appreciates all of your support for the parade because without you, it just doesn't happen. All that cheering and screaming and all that kind of stuff. How the parade came to be. Well, it all came from Stephen Davidson's mind. He came to me as a show director here at Disneyland and said, I want to do a new parade, and I want it to be all about music, and I want it to be all about rhythm. And I think he pretty much accomplished that with the actual parade. He wanted a different sound in each of the units, and he wanted a different feel, and he wanted actually, if you notice, each one of the units has a completely different sound. Whether it's the drums in the opening unit or the cymbals in the Aladdin unit. And so each unit had its own particular sound, and which also helped with the choreography as we were putting the parade together. But you know what? I want these guys to talk. As our art directors, tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Well, hi everybody. I'm glad you all came. My name is Kevin Kidney, and this is Jody Daily. Shall I just talk about us? Okay. Let's see. Well, about ourselves. Well, we both have worked for Disney for many years. I actually started back at Disneyland as a Jungle Cruise skipper back in the 80s. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
But anyway, I've been with the art department. I started in the mid-'80s, and I think I started the same year as Michael Eisner started with the company. I really did.
What happened to him?
I don't know. But I actually outlasted him, believe it or not.
You did?
Yeah, I was here longer than Michael Eisner. But anyway, yeah, obviously we will, over the years I got to work on the Party Gras Parade, remember that?
Absolutely.
So one of the designers on that, the original Fantasmic. The Lion King Swan Parade, Hercules Parade, and Jody is the designer of the Pixar Play Parade over at California Adventure. So we have a long history with Disney Entertainment, and then we do a lot of other stuff too, illustrations and merchandise and all that jazz. But it was extremely exciting when, as you said, when Steve Davison invited us to be a part of this parade. And when we first went to the first meeting, we knew that the parade was going to be called Soundsational. That was already a given. I think they'd already run the word through the legal process, and Soundsational wasn't taken yet. So,
It's the only name.
After about 50 names. And then the only other thing that Stephen was really set on was that Mickey was going to play the drums. And pretty much after that, it was kind of a little bit up in the air as to what was the rest of the parade going to be. So we knew that music was a big part of it, and Stephen wanted to have a lot of different types of music. So Jody and I and Stephen and everybody, we all just sat down and started writing out all of our favorite Disney films that had different types of music. Like the first one that came to our minds was the Three Caballeros. And I thought, boy, if we can get the Three Caballeros into this parade, that will be a huge win. And they all went for it. It was never any question. And I thought, well, this is great because you know, we had actually seen Panchito and Jose Carioca here at Disneyland since, I believe, the Party Gras Parade.
Exactly.
And it was a big deal to have them back. So that was really exciting.
And musically, how could we not use it?
Right.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Right. You know, those of you who love that movie as much as we do, every time I hear that, there's like one little snippet in the Three Caballeros part of the parade where you hear Bahia, Bahia, da 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 da. It's so exciting. I love that. I just love that they were able to fit that little song in there.
Well, and Mark Hammond did the music for the parade. He's a gentleman who lives in Nashville and has done a number of things here at the resort and literally around the world. He did the magical fireworks show with us. But it was thank you. It was a very strange thing when you do a parade for the first time. When you're watching it, you don't realize that every one of the units is exactly the same length, and they have to play out the certain Soundsational opening has to be the same length, and then all the different songs that are in between can be a different length. But when you get back to the certain melody, the Soundsational theme, everything has to time out exactly. Well, this gave Mark fits, but I think he did an amazing job. It really is truly a creative genius that can make 9 units that cohesive, playing all that different music and letting it all come together and sound so great. And also with Mark, we had a gentleman by the name of Tim Davis who did all the vocal arrangements. The vocals in the parade sound a little different than a lot of the parade things that we do. Tim is from Glee. He does a lot of the arrangements for Glee. So listen to the parade again, and you're going to hear some of those harmonies that you'll go, oh gosh, that sounds like that came from Glee. It did. So,
we should talk about some of the hidden little surprises that are in the parade.
You should. You should.
There are a lot of, you know, actually, I mean, I hate to announce this, but, you know, we actually steered clear of doing hidden Mickeys because we thought hidden Mickeys, everybody does hidden Mickeys. We thought, let's hide other things that have meaning to Disneyland past or Disney movies or sound or Disney music, things like that. And so there's a lot of cool little details that we purposely put into each of the floats that represent something important to Disney, and that not everybody sees them. You can still enjoy the parade as it goes by, but there are those of us who get really excited when we see the owl from Toot Whistle Pumpkin Boom up there. Or, as the younger people say, it's the sing-along owl. Like, yeah, it's the sing-along owl, that's right. But yes, Professor Owl is on there, and the Canary Sisters, the 3 little backup birds that are doing their thing on there.
They're doing choreography. I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. And also, how many of you have spotted Evinrude? Wow, not many though, a few. But how many people know who Evinrude is? Okay. Well, okay, a few more, a couple more. Well, those of us of a certain age, when I was, I think, 11 or 12, The Rescuers came out, and that was like my film, you know, because I was alert enough to understand that this new movie was coming out, and actually, The Rescuers came out the same year as Star Wars, by the way, in 1977. But you know, while all my other friends were all into Star Wars, I was into The Rescuers. So I was all about Bernard and Bianca and Orville the Albatross. But yes, anyway, the reason that we did hide Evinrude in the Princess Tiana, Princess and the Frog float was we were trying to think of little characters to hide, just to kind of pepper the you know, just to put little interest here and there. And Jody and I were actually having dinner one night and talking about the Tiana float. Kind of reminded us of The Rescuers a little bit, because there was this swamp and there was this big steamboat, and we were just kind of joking, saying, what if this was another universe and we were actually designing this huge Rescuers float? And so then we just started laughing that what if we tried to get Evinrude in there? And so we actually built him. That little Evinrude that you see on the float, I actually handmade him. He's made out of wood. And he's got little plastic wings and some little hair and a little mustache made out of some foam. And anyway, we weren't so sure that Stephen would go for it, because you know, you never know. And so we thought he might go for it if he sees it's already done.
And working and flying and doing the whole thing.
Already done. So we made it, and then we took a picture of it, and Stephen was in Japan, I think. And I emailed him in the middle of the night and said, can we put this in the float? We think it's funny. And he wrote back and he was like, that's hilarious. Yes, we've got to put that in. So the one reason that we also love having Evinrude there is because he's our little homage to Jimmy McDonald, who was the sound effects wizard at the Walt Disney Studios for many, many years. And he actually came out of retirement to do Evinrude's buzz for The Rescuers. So we love that there's a little sound effects tribute there.
So, I know there's a few other things on the Princess float. Don't you have some things kind of hidden away in there?
On the Princess float, yeah. Let's see, we have, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather are up there near the top of one of the towers. There is, Mrs. Potts is hidden there. Jock, the Cinderella's mouse friend Jock is in the wishing well.
That's the one I like.
Pascal from my mind is buzzing. Tango, thank you. He's on there as well. So there's a lot of little critters hidden away, yeah.
It's great, it's great. It was so fun when we were actually rehearsing the parade. I was supposed to be watching the performers and listening for music and all of that. Couldn't keep my eyes off of Evinrude. It was just like, that is so cool when it would go by. It was really cool. Speaking of rehearsals, sometimes people ask us, so how do I get into a parade? What do you do to get into a parade? For Soundsational, we had 1,000 people show up to be performers in the parade. The parade actually, the number of performers in the parade every day is 92. And about 180, I think it's 184 people, no roles in the parade because we can't work people 7 days a week. And some of my favorites I would love to, but basically there's a lot of people and the talent is so high. I'm constantly amazed by our parade performers, and I'm actually giving them a shout out because I just think they're amazing. Yeah, well, please. While talking about those performers, other unsung heroes in the parade are our choreographers. Tracy Hallis, who does a lot of choreography here at the resort and has worked with me literally around the world, did a lot of the choreography. We actually divided this between Tracy and a gentleman by the name of Josh Horner. And Josh was new to parades, and he found it very interesting that choreography has to keep moving and moving and moving, and it doesn't stop. And it was another learning experience for him. But actually, during the parade, once the choreography had been taught, Josh got a judge on Dancing with the Stars in Australia. He's from Australia. So he's on the way up. Look for Josh Horner somewhere. He's really going to be going there. So,
Should maybe mention Morena.
oh, Morena, Rada, costumer. Can you believe those costumes? Every time we would go to a costume fitting, I think my eyes would just bug out. The first time I saw the headdresses for what we call the water girls, those big headdresses, oh my gosh, I thought that was so cool. And then out walks one of the models in the piñata girl, looking just like a piñata. And it was so cool. And then your piñata that you have on the float, they're very similar. So that was very cool. I remember the first time that Morena, she was very worried about showing the girls' dresses for the princess unit, which I can't imagine that she would be. She was afraid they were going to be too big. Every girl that tried them on was like, I feel like a princess. I want to wear this. So congrats to Morena. She just did an amazing job. And she's worked with Steven and a lot of other Disney directors in Tokyo and here and Hong Kong and Walt Disney World. So her stuff is amazing. I know what I wanted to ask you. Did you know that I choreographed Party Ground?
No, I did not. Wow.
I didn't know until right now that you got, that's so weird. We must well, while we chat here for a second.
You know, it's a big, Disneyland is a big place.
That's true. That's true. So, oh, cool. I love that.
I was sculpting. I was behind the scenes back then.
I love it. I love it.